Hi, welcome back to Beautiful Souls to the next installment of What If All For What was Deku's father hero trap. So in the last part we just ended with All Might coming in, seeing two figures made of shadow in the center, catching the Nomu and Izuku's punch, and then he saw the woman that was cloaked in shadows, or seemed to be made out of shadows, use that quirk. Use All For One's quirk, which is very, very discerning. But essentially, the woman and figure used a quirk that looked exactly like All For One's, and the Nomo just dropped to the ground. And something happened. Something that that some of you are probably going to get pissed off about. Remember how I said Izuku felt weird, like something was off? He kind of took someone's quirk, and they were in a lot of pain because their lungs were kind of full of water and wasn't getting processed out through their gills on their stomach area. So yeah. And then Monoma kind of copied Izuku's work more than once, had longer exposure, and some repercussions about that. So we cut to about 30 minutes after the USJ, and everyone has gotten checked out. Monoma and Izuku are sitting in the nurse's office because, yeah, that was clearly Izuku's arm, considering it had part of his hoodie attached to it. And yeah, they were asking them a bunch of questions because they found Monoma's jaw, and the police were able to determine that it was the boys, especially after everything that was said. And after everyone after the police left, and then one moment, and then after Recovery Girl leaves and All Might is sitting there, Monoma's just been looking at Izuku and All Might in his somewhat, he's buffed up because over the couple of weeks, Izuku has gone for weekly treatments for All Might. All Might wasn't at the USJ because he did kind of overdo it and need to breathe a little bit before he goes back out. Monoma just finally asks what's one for all? Izuku and All Might just stare at him. How do you... And then Izuku looks at Monoma, and Izuku's jaw just drops. Monoma? Isn't your time limit supposed to be 5 minutes? All my head's what is it, Midori? And then Mono pops up. Well, it is, but... And then Izuku explains that the Nomu had super regeneration, shock absorption, and then it had, even though it had extreme strength, that wasn't a quirk, that was just its pure strength. But it also had another quirk that allows the user to see other people's quirks. And then the realization hits Izuku, and he's like, oh my, Monoma, he has that Nomo's quirk, and he's looking at us. So then we get into, like, the explanation of One for All. And then Izuku looks at Monoma and it's like, why aren't the quirks disappearing? And then Momona's like, I think it has to do with those two quirks you have. All for One and this thing called Quirk Drive? But you also have One for All, and then he looks at All Might and he's like, you got the quirk from him, didn't you? And he's like, no, I didn't. And then Ron is like, you can't lie to me. Just look at him. You'll see it. Kind of screaming at Izuku. And Izuku actually looks at All Might, like, properly, and he sees it. Embers of One for All. And then Izuku is like, baffled by this, and he's like, you can't tell anyone about this, Monoma. And Monoma just kind of smirks, and he's like, well, I mean, I have those quirks, so, I mean, I guess we're even, I guess. I mean, oh god, I feel weird. I feel okay, tired. Mona, in conversation then devolves into them explaining One for All, its origins and everything. And then All Might asks, like, Izuku, how do you have that quirk? Have you been? And then Izuku's like, oh my, no, I don't know how I have his quirk. Maybe, wait, you saw that guy? He was shaped. Maybe I gained it then? Because he was touching my hand, but I don't know. That woman, she used the same quirk. But how? So after talking with Izuku and everything, Nezu sends out like an email and everything to all the students of UA that classes are going to be postponed for 2 weeks while an investigation is done, and students should return home. Like, they will get like their regular curriculum, like math, science, social, like laws, and like the normal stuff that they would normally do that aren't hero-related course stuff. They would be getting that via email, and that they do have to still do assignments. The hero support kids are allowed to come to the school because of like their work actually involves building stuff, and that they could potentially they may be potentially needed to like sort some things out. So Izuku and Monoma, like, they meet up the next day, and Izuku like sees Monoma. He waves out, and Monoma comes running up to him, and Izuku's like, so I see they haven't gone away. I guess they may be permanent. So what are we gonna do? Monoma kind of cracks his neck, and he's like, well, since we have regeneration, shouldn't we hit the gym? I mean, isn't the whole science behind building strength like tearing your muscles and letting them heal? Izuku begins to smile, and then he looks at Monoma and he's like, why are you being so nice to me all of a sudden? Monoma kind of punches him in the shoulder, and it's like, dude, because of you, I have all these new quirks. I can see what other people have. I've been looking at other people, like, the whole way here. Like, they're weak, like the weaknesses of the quirk. Like, if you actually like really look at someone and focus on the individual, you can read what the weakness of the quirk is. Though, I'm not sure if that's 100%. Kinda gave me a headache a couple of times I tried doing that. But, I was able to read people's quirks. So, now I can see if someone has a dangerous quirk that it would be dangerous for me to copy. Also, I have shock absorption. I kinda got hit by a car on the way here. Wasn't really thinking. I was just trying to really get here because I just wanted to explain everything. And Izuku just kind of smiles and he's like, so, you got hit by a car. I take it people were freaking out. Monoma again for laughing. Yeah, like they even freaked out when I kind of popped my shoulder back into place and my arm healed up. Wait, you have shock? And then Monoma's like, when I say truck, I mean lorry? Semi-truck? And Izuku's like, oh, wait, you got hit by a transport truck? What the hell? And then Monoma's like, yeah, kinda didn't sleep much last night. Wanted to test out a few things, and I mean, the regeneration's awesome, and, well, shock absorption probably saved me from, like, losing a limb. Though, but what about you, man? Like, do you still... I'm looking at you, and you seem to... Your quirks have seemed to start merging. Like, now you have... Let me see. And he's like, Monoma, that's very rude. And Monoma's like, oh, sorry. It's just, I mean, Izuku, Midoriya, come on. I just get a new quirk and you don't expect me to use it to, like, train? Like, come on. From what I found this morning, the shock absorption and the regeneration seem to kind of be active all the time, but you can kind of turn off the quirk viewing quirk just to, like, relieve. It's like your eyes begin to get strained and, like, things start to get blurry. It may be a weakness of the quirk, but I'm assuming the original user, if they overused it, they would go blind, but I'm guessing because of our regeneration quirks, it should be fine. Like, they both begin to laugh, and like they do go get something to eat, and Izuku explains, yeah, I was kind of testing it out myself this morning. Apparently now I don't need to take in water to, like, heal. And Momo's like, duh, you have regeneration. And he's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. As he puts his hand on, like, the table and, like, detaches his hand from his arm and then turns everything back to normal, Monoma just sees, like, his hand regrow. It seems because of the regeneration and the other quirk, it's become hyper regeneration. Monoma's like, wow, that's pretty amazing, dude. So that means you no longer have to drink water after using, like, those remote explosions? And Izuku is, like, nodding affirmatively. And Izuku's like, so, you wanted to meet up today to go train, to test out. Yeah. After I left, the teachers kind of want me to be watched. And fairly certain there's heroes watching us right now. And I have a Quirk appointment this afternoon, so to go get checked out and everything. Deku kind of laughs. It's like, yeah, me too, but I have to go see a specialist for, well, you know. One of us like, yeah, I get it. So, you want to go hit the gym until then? Until we both have to leave? I mean, who knows? We could possibly raise our max like twofold by the time we leave. So they go to the gym and they do like workouts, and all the other gym goers are just watching these two just gradually just add more and more weight to like their leg presses, their squats, their bench presses, and then the two just like after about doing this for like 2-3 hours kind of collapse after they decided to like take a run on like a treadmill for about 30 minutes, just going all out. And one of the gym workers kind of walk up to you, ask them if they're okay, and they're like, yeah, maybe we should have taken it a little lighter. We should be fine. We have regeneration quirks. And the man's like, wow, that's amazing. That makes like working out perfect for you two. Izuku and Monoma kind of laughing as they get thrown like bottles of water. Here, you two probably need a little bit of water. We have another guy that has a regeneration quirk, like actually over there. And then they see this man walk up to this weird machine. Then about 1,000, like about 245 times 2, 450, 450, and two more than, well, no. Yeah, two more. They see like this machine start putting 45 kg, or no, it'd be, well, yeah, let's just say 45 kg. Forget the conversion. It's 45 kg weights, which are bigger than 45 pound weights. Start loading like this machine up with about 10 45 kg weights, and they just see the man just like do a set, wipe his brow off, take a swig of water, then do another set. Yeah, he said even though his quirk allows him to work out like 30 minutes a day just to like work out like to the extreme, he still needs to drink water. He can get dehydrated. So, I mean, if you want to talk to someone about working out, he'd probably be the best. I mean, he's been coming here for years, and he's kind of a construction worker, so he comes here to train for weight, for like different jobs and everything, to keep his muscles so he doesn't atrophy. So one of my Mizuko like get introduced to the man, and he starts talking to them, and he explains like that. Yeah, well, my quirk's not as good as you guys, but I've met a lot of different people with regeneration quirks. More so just like my family members. They, like, yeah, we can heal pretty easily, but we are still limited by hydration, nutrition. If we don't eat properly, combined with like how much we're lifting weights, or like how much we're getting injured for like certain jobs. Like saying that one of his cousins actually works at the nuclear facility, and his quirk is actually pretty dang robust. It's kind of like it's almost on the level of what would be considered a hyper regeneration quirk, looking at Izuku. And then I have another cousin who's a firefighter, and well, he doesn't really wear protective gear. He has something that you call. But even those two, they still have to eat properly and like drink plenty of water because of the limitations of our quirk. Ergo, well, Izuku really doesn't. And they're taking this in, and like the guys, like, so, you know, you two have a regeneration quirk. Do you know what the level is of it? And Izuku and Monoma's like, no, a kind of mix-up happened at our school, and well, we both originally have copy quirks, and a weird combination of quirks kind of gave us regeneration. They're both kind of looking, kind of cringing when they say that. The man's like, wait, are you two part of, UA? And like, they both like, yeah. Wow, so you two are going to become heroes. That's very admirable. They're like, you're not freaked out that we gained quirks? And the man kind of looks around and goes, well, I'm not the nicest guy, but, I mean, I'm no hero, but I'm also no villain. But working at the docks, you kind of hear a few things. And some rumors do get around from the less tasteful characters that I work with. I heard something about a guy a rumor lately about multiple people able to take people's quirks and give them to other people, so I mean, not weirded out by that, but you two should probably not talk to the general public about that. Whatever, kids. Well, it was nice talking to you. I wish you two the best of luck, and since if you're going to be working out, I would suggest eating around, well, for now, I would suggest eating around 5k calories, but the more you work out, the higher your caloric intake needs to go up. So, I mean, again, I've kind of got to get going to work. Two of them just staring at the man, and they're like, wait, can we get your... And the man just kind of throws like two business cards at like Izuku. I know, before all my Japanese viewers and everything start getting down my throat, that's so improper, that's not how you're supposed to do that. First off, like, yes, I understand that, totally understand, like, the social normalities in certain ways that you handle business cards, but they're in a very informal environment, like, very, very informal, like, they do call him Senpai, and they do get his name, and they do, like, actually call him Senpai, because he's their workout Senpai, and before he leaves the door, like I said, he throws the cards to him. He's like, give me a call if you guys ever want to work out. And Izuku and Morima just kind of grin, and they're like, so on their way to the train station, this time it's Izuku that gets hit by a truck. He sees this little girl, like, in the road, and both Monoma and Izuku run out there. Monoma kind of grabs the girl because of the nature of Izuku's quirk. He kind of gets in between, like, the girl and Izuku. Then Izuku gets hit by the truck, but unlike that, Izuku is just holding his hands out, not really thinking about putting up 1-for-1, like using like one for all, and he kind of catches the truck and it gets pushed back, kind of bumping into Monoma and the girl. Like, Monoma's just like holding the girl, And then the truck stops. Izuku's just looking at his arms. And then Monoma sets the girl down. The mom comes running up like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And the girl's like, thank you, Nissan. And Monoma just goes, hey, it was nothing. And then like Monoma turns around and smacks Izuku. It's like, why didn't you use the other quirks? You could have stopped that without even actually getting hit. Yeah, well, why didn't you jump away with the girl? Both of them like laugh as like heroes start to come up to them. They get questioned, and they it's like, well, no one got hurt, and he looks at Izuku in the truck, and there's minimal damage to the truck. You kind of broke its bumper dented the bumper a little bit, but all things considered, it's a good thing you two were there. Things could have gotten worse, but don't let this mean that you two slide mean that you can go using your quirks all willy-nilly out there. And both Monoma and Izuku's like, yeah, we understand. We're actually students at UA. It's just, looking over at like the girl, like being happily looked at by an MT, like we couldn't stand by and watch the little girl get hurt. Finally says Monoma. Izuku's shocked at this. Hiro kind of laughs and he's like, yes, but you've got to be more careful. Quirk usage is against the law, but since no one was hurt and minimal damage was done, I'm going to let you guys go without a warning. But I do have to report this to, the police. And your school has to be informed of the incident as well. Izuku and Monoma's like, crap. So they make it to the bus to the train station. And Izuku's like, he grabs Monoma's hand and Monoma's like kind of goes to pull it away and he's like, it's fine, Monoma. You said you could control the copy, and well, kind of already have your quirks. So I mean, hey. So if you wanted to get some more, you could use it. Monoma kind of grins and he's like, nah, I'm good, Izuku. Thanks anyway. And then they fist bump afterward. See you this weekend, right? Monoma's like, yeah, Mom kind of freaked out when I showed her the regeneration. She kind of made the quirk assessment doctor's appointment like that this morning, and she said I had to be home by 3, which, oh crap. Izuku's like, what? And Monoma's like, it's 2:30. Next train leaves in 15 minutes and I won't be home. Izuku kind of grins. He's like, which direction is your house? Monoma points and Izuku just powers up to 100% of a one for all and just grabs Monoma and jumps off, lands, jumps, drops him off at the train station, kind of tells him to say, well, oh crap, I'm already late. Mom's gonna kill me. And Izuku just jumps off. Monoma is just standing there staring at him like, what the actual fuck? Oh, Izuku. One moment I got a door knock. Sorry about that. Just neighbor asking if I wanted some they were making some food and they asked if I wanted some. Love my neighbors. Too bad the place is different IRL stuff. But yeah, where were we? Oh yeah, Monoma was just standing there looking at Izuku as he just jumps off like, what the fuck is God damn, this kid. Holy shit. Izuku Midoriya. Quirk Singularity. That. And when they were eating, they did talk about a few things, like theories about quirk evolution and everything. Because of the nature of Monoma's quirk, I'm fairly certain he would have studied quirk theory, like, pretty in-depthly, kind of like how Momo has to study chemistry to be able to properly use her quirk, because she has to know the chemical makeup of what she's making, but also how like the ions and everything interact with each other. By far, Momo is the smartest person in 1A. I'm sorry. Sorry about the tangent, but Momo is a freaking super genius. She has to know not only the chemical makeup of something, but how the ions interact with each other when she's making more refined things, like electronics. When she made the tracking device for the heroes and everything. Like, the amount of intelligence that's needed for something like that to be actually just make it is high. She may not have a super int quirk, but she's super intelligent. She may not have a quirk that buffs her intelligence, but that girl's got some learned knowledge. And the amount of information that she needs to know to be able to properly use her quirk to make electronics, yeah. The woman, Momo's a certified genius. So, sorry about that tangent. It's just, oh god, people just sleep on Momo's quirk. So, because of the nature of Monoma's quirk, I'm fairly certain he would have had to have studied quirk theory, like how quirks could evolve and stuff, because he could potentially accidentally copy someone's quirk. That could, with this system, kind of what happened with Izuku. So when he copied Izuku's quirk, it kind of with it. And when Monoma was actually getting basically ground pounded by the Nomo, he was just thinking, I've got to copy its quirk. And Izuku's quirk and his quirk kind of worked in tandem, and he copied the Nomo's quirks, and they got added to his base quirk factor. Because Izuku has one for all. Because Izuku has all for one. Which I kind of led up to the notion that he has his father's quirk, but he also has his mother's. He kind of got his mother's quirk in utero, which is why he can somewhat control the sludge on his body. And why wave motion, float came so naturally to him. He was already predisposed to quirks that involved using your hands and fingers, which is why his double palm quirk, he's very apt at it, which is going to help out him in a long run with some things. But that's neither here nor there. That's for future parts. So, they do talk about it, and Izuku actually, for the first time in a very, very long time, actually felt that someone was his friend. And Monema's kind of in the same boat. He learns that people kind of treated Izuku the same way that they treated him, like a freak, someone that just copies other people's power just to get ahead. And Monoma kind of like actually like really thanks Izuku for this. Like, yeah, it was an accident and it was more so his fault. But now Monoma doesn't really have to rely on copying other people's quirks to perform hero work, and it's opened up a lot of gifts for him, and he really thanks Izuku for that. So as Izuku was jumping off, Monoma was also thinking, it's like, quirk singularity. He may get it one day, but it's the first person that I can actually talk to about everything that I worry about with my own quirk. And then he looks at his hands and he sees like 4 things pop up. Copy quirk, quirk viewing, shock absorption, super regeneration. And he's like, sorry about the interruption. I actually remembered that I changed something and I didn't actually change this part in this episode, so I kind of went off for about 15 minutes there saying something that I shouldn't have said. Sorry about that. So where I left off, I did like the psych thing. So Monoma, when he gets home and everything, his mom is shocked. Is like she asks, "Where have you been?" In Monoma, and sorry if this is a repeat, Monoma's like, "I went and saw a friend." His mom's head snaps back as she's like, "Friend?" Monoma's like, "Yeah, I kind of had to thinking, because if these are permanent, which I think they are, because what my friend Midoriya said looking at me, I kind of had to thinking, Mom, this is the first time that I've got power that I won't be looked at as a freak, you know?" And his mom kind of like embraces him, and then she's like, "Crap." And Mona's like, "You copied my quirk again, didn't you, Mom?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's just, you said you had a friend, and it seems, is this another one of those ploys, someone like actually tried, like being your friend just to use you?" And Mona's like, I don't think so, Mom." So Monoma leaves for his doctor's appointment. They do blood work and everything. They want him to come in for like a follow-up like next week as well, just to see if he still has the quirk, but they tell him to kind of take it easy for a while, because from what our reports are, it could be temporary, but we're not 100% sure. You may need to go see a specialist next week about this. And oh, that's funny. And they ask what, and the doctor's like, "Wow, I just realized your name, and yeah, you might meet someone there at the facility that you might know." Doctor kind of grinning. So we skip to like a week later. Monoma and his mother show up to the facility. And when they get there, they check in, and then they hear like a loud explosion and part of the building kind of getting blown out. And they freak out. Then they see like someone jump out of the window. And one was like, "Midoriya?" And Izuku just kind of that was hot. That was hot. Hot, 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 hot. Oh, shit! And Ezekiel just kind of punches the ground, reaches his hand in it, and lifts his hand up, just kind of pumping water into, like, where he came out of. Then he stops, and he's like, oh, God, Doc's not going to be happy about that. That's what, 3 times in the past 48 hours? Oh. Well, I mean, the door's destroyed and things are kind of broke up there. Guess I'll go in through the front door. So Izuku makes his way to, like, the front door, and then he sees Monoma, and he's like, Monoma? What are you doing here? Excuse me. Monoma's like, Midoriya, this is your hospital that you told me about? Izuku kind of laughs, like, yeah, I kind of can't tell people about this place, but since you're here, I am assuming it's about looking at the woman. And Monoma's like, oh, this is my mom. She knows Midoriya. Again, thank you, because this is... Izuku's like, well, I mean, it makes sense that you would get brought here. Well, I'll show you in. By the way, it's nice meeting you, Miss Monoma. My name's Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you. She reaches out to grab Izuku's hand, and he kind of jumps away. And Izuku's like, sorry, but my quirk, I don't have control over it. I can't stop it. And Izuku then, like, looks at Monoma, and then looks at, like, the woman. Ah, I get it. So this is who you got your quirk from. As he like smiles, and then he shakes. He puts a glove on out of his pocket. He pulls a glove out of his pocket, puts it on, and shakes the woman's hand. And the woman's like, thank you so much for being there for my son. I know he's kind of a creep and he's arrogant at times, but he's a good kid. Izuku's like, don't mention it, but I kind of in trouble for pointing it up. And Izuku's like, yeah, that's like the 3rd time in the past couple of days. Doc's not going to be happy. He says every single time I do something like this, it takes him several hours to repair the dang room so he can get proper measurements. Which I'm assuming you're probably here for him. So Izuku takes him in to meet the doctor. They get set up and they start testing out, like, Monoma. Izuku begins to, like, kind of smile, and he's like, so he talks to, like, Monoma's mom, and he's like, so Monoma, he told me he used to get picked on, and if you're worrying about me wanting something from him, we're kind of in the same boat. I was made fun of for my quirk. And, well, I was called a villain because I always made people feel off when I touched them. And it's only recently I just discovered what my quirk does. So, he's okay, and yeah, your son is arrogant. Kind of a dick, but, I mean, one of my oldest friends is kind of the same way as him. Though, yeah. So that being said, you beautiful souls, that's where I'm going to get. And sorry about this little 8 minutes. I kind of messed up and started to say something that I had crossed out and said, this doesn't exist anymore. So my apologies about that. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, what you think of this series so far. Leave a like because it does help with the algorithm of the video. I am trying to hit 10k subs by the end of the year. And if we hit 10k subs by the end of the year, I have something super special planned out for the 10k sub special. That being said, I will see you beautiful souls in the next video.